First of all, remember they're changing my voice even though that violates my constitutional rights. In the Bible, we see the words righteousness and justice being used interchangeably, as well as we see the word righteous and godly used interchangeably in the various translations. For example, Proverbs 16:12, okay, the New International Version and New Living Translation, and Proverbs 28:1. Okay. We also see that the light is said to be the life in the Gospel of John. Okay. We see that in Isaiah it is a light of justice. So it is also a light of righteousness. Okay. It says, let your light shine before others. So a core, perhaps the core doctrine of Christianity is to be a light of righteousness, justice, the Spirit of God, etc. That's part of why I cannot present myself in a way that is LGBT. Again, I cannot present myself in a way that is LGBT. Okay, that's why I speak so much against what they're doing and highlight that they're trying to confuse that. We see a record number of people wearing pink these days. We see that one study said that as much as 40% of Generation Z claims an LGBT identity. Okay, that is at least 4 times. Okay, probably like probably maybe between 4 and 10 times the number of the percent of people, which is 2 to 5%, 10% if you're being extremely gracious, who identified as LGBT in previous generations, okay, or in the generation before, or 2 generations before that, okay. My generation, what is Generation X? Okay, so at least, you know, my generation, 2 to 5%, Generation Z, okay, 40%. So obviously there's evidence of LGBT expansion in the minds of people. Whether that's been achieved through coercion or not, I'm not going to explore that in this video. I'm going to stick to the facts. It is a fact that the common interpretation of the Bible historically is that homosexuality is a sin, and I agree, and that is my religious freedom. Okay, I am not a Christian because it is not speaking directly. It does not point directly to what you should do, and it says in the Bible to make straight the way for the Lord. However, I do agree with them on this issue because God is the creator. It's called procreation. God made man, male and female, to reproduce. He didn't make it so 2 males can reproduce. So their relationship is based solely on lust. Love is something that I believe firmly can only occur, romantic love, between a man and a woman. Okay? There are countless LGBT people that agree. For example, the satanic LGBT community is pretty certain that they agree because they embrace erotic desire and naked modeling and so on and so forth. Lust-inspiring activity. LGBT porn stars, lust activity. So by their actions, they seem to be agreeing that romantic love cannot occur between people of the same sex. And I do believe that part of God's Spirit, I know for sure, is true love. Okay? However, you have the option to choose to be LGBT. I do not try to drive LGBT people out of the community or the country. I don't do that. I do not persecute them and demand that they change the way they dress. Okay? They, however, are doing that to me with the white Jew and token minorities. Okay? And basically, the masses of Americans play stupid because they're being coerced. This isn't the first time in history that the government has coerced the population. Okay? We would not see 40% of people identify as LGBT unless they were being coerced. Okay, why don't they identify as black? Okay, why don't they identify as Muslim? Why LGBT? What's in it for them? Okay, they are being coerced. There's no other way it could be. And also it has implications on the government control of breeding, which is something they also have historically done. Look up eugenics. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Again, if there's any physical threats in my videos, that's the government changing it and not me. I do speak about eternal punishment and eternal punishment increasing if people do not obey God through me. But I do